we have so much access to information, but do
Uh,
you think in the last, say, 40 years we have reduced our capability to ask critical questions? Why is the
yeah.
same question continuing?
No, I think as you correctly say, it's getting worse. I'll tell you why. What is happening is that, definitely, and this goes back to proper training in school. If you have, right from childhood, if you bring up children saying that only doing some maths problem or solving science equations or whatever it is what real knowledge and learning is about. And I've seen children put down social science and humanities. They don't know anything about arts and literature or philosophy, but they feel sufficiently confident or empowered to say, oh, what do those people do? They don't do anything. To be actually dismissive of disciplines. And that comes because it's their surrounding. Their parents do it, their teachers do it, the larger
Hmm.
society does that. So they're able. So how can then, when they grow up, how can they ever get sensitivity towards other kinds of learning, other kinds of knowledge and all that? Because they're bought into the system and that's all they know. And that's why I said learning, to come back to the first point we're talking about, learning has to come from ignorance. They have to be able to somewhere say, you know what, I really don't know what any of these disciplines do and why we need them. And I want to
Hmm.
listen to what you say about it. Not
Hmm.
start with knowledge that these are all useless.
Hmm.
There's definitely a crisis in the youth who are confronting the society today. And we used to see this when I set up the humanities program. People who are in these professional courses, so many of them want to get away from it, but they feel they can't. Today, you look at the number of software people, basically in the software industry, who are all gravitating to various things in the humanities.
Hmm.
So many of them, because now is the time. Okay, so they are not trying to have it both ways. They made their money and now they feel they should explore these kinds of things because this is what they really want to do. The point is, if we did this in school, we would not have lost out so many people to education, because the reason is, some people may not be good in engineering or in medicine, they can't get in, you lose them. We have the among the world's very high rate of dropouts, right? So our gross enrollment ratio is so low compared to the so-called more advanced societies. And it is because of this. Whereas we had a more rounded education where where you legitimize different types of learning and different types of skills, you would actually have produced a much richer society. People would have understood, you know. But otherwise, it's just, yeah, so definitely there is a crisis. But for that, we have to change the public narrative. That's why for me, a lot of philosophy is about public philosophy. It's not about sitting in departments and reading some books which nobody wants to read. I think that's a failed project of philosophy. The only meaningful project of philosophy is to be able to bring these narratives to the public so that the society can get informed and can get changed, to be whatever it else it has to be.